Welcome to today's masterclass on how I built a seven-figure portfolio and six-figure income with just a few rental properties using the cake method. I did this as a stay-at-home mom on a single income, not even six figures, without creative financing, without even using the Burr method, and without risking all my money. So, hi, my name is Casey Franchini. I am a wife, a homeschooling mom of three, and I'm a real estate investor. But I am not a guru. I am not a guru. I do not sell unicorn stories. I'm just a safe investor using a solid strategy that prevents me from making costly mistakes that I feel like this works. So today we're going to learn why you don't need 100 properties to reach financial freedom, why just a few purposeful properties can set you free, why creative financing and over leveraging isn't always necessary, why you don't even need to leave your job to be an investor, and the real reason why you haven't found success yet. This is the process I have used to build a stress-free seven-figure rental portfolio and six-figure annual income on autopilot, which allows me the financial freedom I need to not work a day job so I can homeschool my kids if I choose, and I do, and to spend time with my family whenever I want and travel whenever I want. So today we're going to learn how, okay? We're going to learn the exact system and the secret method I use to make more money with 9 properties than other investors do who have 50 plus. It's insane. And you can implement this method too starting today. But before we get started, you have to know the 3 biggest lies that are keeping you from buying your first rental property. We're going to break down the 3 biggest lies keeping you stuck in analysis paralysis. Like this guy over here, he's still looking to buy rental properties, but he hasn't yet, despite months or even years of learning, still learning, always learning, never taking action, right? Now, the reason why you haven't been able to pull the trigger and buy your first investment property. And it took me 6 years, literally 6 years of wasted time to figure this out. And guess what? It's not what you think it is. It's not analysis paralysis. And analysis paralysis is the number one thing that I hear investors saying why they can't make a decision on moving forward with getting started with their first rental property. They say it's analysis paralysis, but that's not really what it is. It's not that you're too busy. You're scared. You're scared of screwing up, right? You just don't know enough. Think about it. If you had all of the answers, you would do it. Wouldn't you? If you knew what the outcome was going to be, you would do it. No problem. But you don't know the end result. You're scared of what might happen. You're scared of screwing up because you just don't know enough. And it's really hard to make life-changing decisions when you aren't sure of the end result. I know this from experience. This is how I figured this out. So in 2007, way back then, I got my real estate broker's license in California. So I was born and raised in SoCal for all 30 years, okay, until we moved to Memphis. But in 2007, I got my real estate broker license in California. I worked with flippers and I found them good deals on fixer-uppers, short sales, foreclosures. This was right when, 2008, 9, 10, when the real estate, market, the big market crash happened. So I was working a lot with flippers, helping them look for all these really great deals. So in 2010, Blake and I said, hey, we're going to do this too. And we made over 20 offers on rental properties in SoCal. And a little secret is they cash flowed them. They really did. We were in contract on several of them, but we backed out of all of them for one reason or another. There was always some excuse, right? But the ultimate reason really was just that I was scared. That was the reason. I wasn't sure of the end result, right? I didn't know if I was making the right decisions. I mean, it was just me. I had some real estate experience. My husband had literally none. So it was kind of all on me, deciding factor if we were making the right choice. I didn't know if their property would actually run out. I mean, yeah, I ran my numbers, but I mean, was I running the numbers right? I mean, I don't know. I didn't know anyone else who owned rental properties. It was just me. What if I bought a money pit? What if nobody rents it? What if my rent estimate is wrong? money on it every month. I mean, we couldn't afford to hold two mortgages if somebody wasn't renting it. So I was scared. I gave up and did literally nothing for 6 years. 6 years in real estate, a wasted time. Oh, the millions and millions and millions more I would have now in California real estate had I not given up. Now nothing cash flows. That's a joke. That's not happening. So we left California. We moved out of that place in 2013. We moved to Memphis, Tennessee, and that's me with my little baby Jace at the time and Juliet. She was 2. So I left my mom and dad, my sister, my only sister, my best friend, everybody that we knew. We left and hiked it all the way to Tennessee. I thought I was going to be, living the American Pie dream, right? Little white picket fence and all of that. Part of that was true, right? But ultimately, I mean, I was a depressed mom with a 2-year-old, a 3-week-old. I was like happy and I wrote on the inside, but I think I meant to write on the outside. I was happy on the outside. I really did have some visions of drowning myself in the swimming pool. Like it was pretty bad. And I didn't realize that until years later, how bad that kind of was. My husband, Blake, he went to work every single day, all day. I didn't know a soul out here, right? I needed to get out of the rut. And I really did need more than being a mom. And I hate to say that, but I did. But what did I want, right? What did I really want? Well, I wanted it all. I mean, who doesn't? Okay. I wanted to stay home with the kids. I don't want to put them in daycare. That was one reason why we wanted to move to Tennessee so I could be a stay-at-home mom. In California, I would have to have dual income. I wanted to make a full-time income without going to a 9 to 5 job. I mean, heck yes. Don't we all want to do that? Yeah. And then I figured it out. Okay. So that's what I'm going to tell you about today. I wanted to relieve my husband of the stress of providing. Think about it. If you are a man watching this or the sole provider, I mean, a woman sole provider of your family, how stressful is that? To know that all the family's finances relies it's like on your shoulders. If you get fired, if you get laid off, if you don't show up to work or whatever, your family can't afford to live. And stressful. So that was on my husband's shoulders because I wasn't working. So I wanted to relieve him of that. I wanted some money, but I didn't want to have to trade my hours, trade my time for it. I wanted to leave my kids to have to make this money. I wanted something that would provide retirement income. I wanted something that would contribute to the family. And I wanted to feel worthy too. I mean, gosh, dang it. I went to school my whole life. I got my bachelor's degree just to sit home and, be mom. Great, but I wasn't making any money. That wasn't really, inside me to do that being my only thing. So I needed more. I wanted to make money. I didn't want to trade my time for it. I wanted everything. So I had a light bulb moment, right? Casey, things are possible with real estate. I said to myself, and I knew this already. We had already, tried buying rental properties back in California years ago. And I kind of gave up on that dream because I thought there's no way I could do this. But I knew again, this is the path. So why long-term rental, right? Because there's so many options for rental properties. I mean, there's a whole, but you could do short-term, long-term. There's like a gamut of different strategies. So why long-term rentals? Well, easy for me to say. There are so many benefits. Just look at this list. Monthly income from cash flow, right? So I'm going to get rental checks deposited in my bank account without having to go to work every day for these checks. I'm going to get appreciation of my properties, which is going to increase my net worth. I'm going to have insane tax advantages. I'm going to get to use leverage, right? I'm going to get bank loans so I can control a bigger price property for a smaller portion invested, right? I'm going to have stability through economic downturns. No matter there's another financial crisis like in '08, the rentals were fine. People still rented their properties out. And I knew that no matter what happened in the economy, people always need a place to live and be safe doing long-term rentals. I would have direct control over my investment versus investing in other types of strategies where you don't have control. You can't sell your property when you want. You can't refinance when you want. You can't make upgrades or changes when you want. There's a lot of, uncontrolled investment opportunities, and I didn't want that. I'm a little control freak. I wanted predictability in the market. Okay. I wanted an equity builder. I wanted a hedge against inflation. Rents are going to rise along with cost of goods and services. Sweet, right? And I wanted generational wealth. I wanted to be able to pass these income properties down to my children so that they could start off with their life with some income coming in. And yeah, then duh, I wanted passive income. I wanted the rent checks in the mail so I could have all the things that I wanted. But the best reasons for doing long-term rentals is that I will get to stay home with my kids, not need a 9 to 5 job. I'd be able to travel when I want, still have money coming in. It would be that additional income stream we're looking for. I'd be able to spend my time doing what I want to do. I get to homeschool my kids. They get to be with me all the time at home. Love that. I'd have the ability to choose my life, not have external factors choosing my life for me. I could be in control. And then, reality set in once again. Where will I get this money, right? We all have our things of why we can't. My thing was we didn't have any money to buy rentals. We had just moved to Memphis and we bought our first house and, I wasn't working. Where's this magical down payment money going to come from? That was my problem. What if we picked the wrong neighborhood? What if we bought a money pit? What if no one rents it? All these negatives kept flooding back just like before. What if my rent estimate is wrong? What if I ended up losing money every month instead of making money? What if I can't afford 2 mortgages? Well, we don't know how to own rentals. Oh, it's going to take too long. Long-term rentals don't cash flow a lot. I'll need a lot of rentals and I don't have money to buy several. So it just started getting worse and worse and worse. So all the negative thoughts and why I can't, why it won't work out. And here I was again, stuck, defeated. But I noticed that I was looking for reasons why it would work. I knew it would work. There's millions, thousands of people right out there that invest. There is an investor in every freaking country, in every state, in every city, worldwide. There are investors. So they would not be doing it if it didn't work. And all those people aren't looking for reasons why not to. So, do you think I stayed here stuck, feeling defeated? No. Heck to the no. I said, no more self-sabotaging, right? No more saying things like, oh, I work a lot. And these are things that I hear all the time when I talk to potential investors. These are a lot of their reasons. And what reasons are these of yours why they can't start investing, right? Well, I work too much. Or, well, I have kids. I don't have time. Or I'm a single parent working full time. Or I work 12-hour days. There's no time, right? It's always about no time. Oh, I've got too much going on right now. I'm going to do it when I have more time. Oh, I'm getting married this year. Not a good time. I'm getting divorced. We're having a baby. Not a good time. I have had women have babies during my coaching program, side note, and breastfeed on our coaching calls. So talk about dedication. Okay. When you want something, you will do it. This is off topic, but I had a guy who worked in the oil fields in Texas. He worked 6 weeks in a row, 12 to 16-hour days. That freaking guy met with me on Zoom in his truck, covered in like dirty oil. He could do it. So there's people working more than 12-hour days without breaks for 6 weeks. There's no excuse. Okay. All right. So people say, well, I have a big vacation or I'm going to Europe or whatever. Oh, I don't have time. I should do it later. I just switched jobs or I'm unemployed. You don't need to have a job to invest in real estate. You just need to have money, down payments. There's other loans. I don't think I qualify for a loan. And then I hear, I don't know how to invest in real estate and then the external. Everyone says it's a bad time to buy. Well, I'm waiting for the market to crash. Well, I don't see anything that cash flows. Well, you don't know how to look for things that cash flow. I'll wait until interest rates go down. Or maybe I'll just put more money in my 401k. Maybe I'll just wait until I have more time. More time. Wanting more time. That is the overall underlying, excuse that I have. And I wasn't going to say any of those things. So, any of those things that I just read off, does any of them sound like you? What is your holdback for not getting started with investing? Okay. Because there's always a reason why not to. There's a reason why not to do anything that you should be doing. You should be working out. You should be eating healthy. You should be calling your mom once a month, whatever. There's always a reason. Oh, I'm too busy. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. There's always a reason why not to. And you know it, right? So, and I knew it. I had to have a mindset shift. Did you know you are the one holding yourself back? This was my mindset shift. It wasn't anybody else holding me back. It wasn't anybody else's you know, nobody was holding me back. It wasn't, the government or the president of the United States or my boss, my husband, my wife, my anybody. No one's holding you back but you. So then I found this book, recommended, highly recommend, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And I realized that it is all within me and my power to make the success that I want. And if I really do want to change my life, I have to change it from within first, right? And a lot of people read the Bible. I'm not super religious, but we are Christian. This book, though, really spoke to me because it told me that it's no one else's fault but mine. And how lame that sounds, it was very freeing. It was very freeing. Because if it was my fault, then I could fix it. So then I said, that's it. No more excuses. No more pity party. No more blaming other people for the position I'm in. I was determined to make it work and buy rentals. No excuses. I will make the money that I need. And for you, it might not be you don't have a down payment. For you, it might be whatever other thing. But drop it. Drop the excuse. Know that you can overcome any hurdle. I said to myself, I will learn. I will take, keyword, action. Okay, action is the key word. You can talk all you want, but if you don't take action, nothing is going to happen. Your life can't change if you don't do anything, right? So I said, I can, I will. No one tells me no, not even myself. And I'm pretty stubborn. So in 2014, I started my online Etsy shop to save up for my first rental property. I didn't really have tons of skills except for real estate. I didn't want to go back to being an agent. Remember, I wanted to stay home with my kids. I didn't want to go to a job. So it took me 1.5 years of grueling work. In between naps and nights and on the weekends, I personalized items and sold them on Etsy, Facebook resale sites, did porch pickup for like $5 to $25. My Moscow Mule mug down in the right-hand corner, those were $25. And I etched those. My husband made an etching machine, blew the tip of his finger off, making that etching machine for me. Oops. Didn't grow back. And anyway, I had saved enough then for my first rental property. So I challenge you to make no excuses. Okay. Look at this lady. We all know her. Oprah freaking Winfrey. Born into poverty, she faced abuse from the ages of 9 to 13 years old. And she was told she wasn't fit for television early in her career. But did she give up on herself? No. She has a net worth of $3 billion. Harlan Sanders, he was an insurance salesman. He didn't, quote, make it until he was 40 years old, right? That's the guy founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken. He's not living anymore, but his brand is valued at $6.7 billion. This guy had 1,000 rejections. And what's your excuse? What's my excuse? Peanuts compared to this guy. Peanuts compared to Oprah Winfrey and so many others, okay? So you may be thinking, yeah, well, they're famous. 1 in a million won't be me. Okay. You can make excuses until the cows come home, but you will never, never get to where you are wanting to be without taking action. You'll say, oh, well, I should have done this, or I could have done that, or one day I will. And then you'll be old and you'll say, well, I always wanted to do that. I regret it. I wish I had. So don't let that be you. And whenever I start thinking that way, I remember this little picture, and I saw this like years and years ago, and I had to search the internet for it to show you this, because whenever I feel like giving up on anything in life, I remember this picture and I remember this guy here on the bottom. Okay. This guy was about to make it big. Look how close he was to the diamonds, and he gave up. What if your freedom is just on the other side of you taking just a little bit of action, moving the needle, getting out of your comfort zone, doing something different? This guy almost made it and he gave up. That will never be me. So I will never be giving up. You need to ask yourself, what is your why? Is it your kids, your spouse? Is it you? Why do you want it? Why? Well, what I wanted most wasn't actually money. And I figured this out after I had the money. I realized, well, what I really wanted most wasn't more money, it's time. Time is what I wanted, right? The money gives you the time. Money gives you the freedom. I wanted time with my family. I wanted to go to the beach with Blake whenever we wanted. This is Florida. Last summer on the right, the right picture, actually it wasn't last summer, it was September, just September. We just left. Me, Blake, the kids, we just left randomly. And we were gone a month. We traveled from Tennessee to California and back, hit the national parks. This is us hiking the Narrows in Zion National Park. Just wanted to experience life. I wanted time. And I was still getting rent checks coming in the mail. I wanted freedom. This is us, the middle picture. We were in Colorado panning for gold, in like the Breckenridge, like kind of ski resort area. So fun. Here's us in Mexico on the right side. Just want time. I want to travel. I want to experience the world. I want to show my kids real life and I want them to experience it. So I want the freedom and the time to be able to do that. And for that, you need to have income coming in. But if you don't want to go to work for it, you've got to figure out another way. And real estate was it for me. So if I wanted all this, right, I had to actually shift my mindset. So this was the shift. I had to ask myself, if we wanted to bring in $100,000 a year in rental income. Now think about this. This was my initial goal, 100,000 initially. I want 100,000 a year in rental income while keeping our single income. So I wanted to do this without me having to work. And my husband wasn't even making $100,000 a year at the time. So it's not like we were some high income earners. We were not. I wanted low risk properties. I wanted a low cost turnover. So when tenants move out, right, it costs money to fix them back up in between. I didn't want to have to do that. I wanted appreciation to build my net worth. I wanted rents to keep going up over time. I wanted no headache tenants, right? Oh, I couldn't imagine. And I only wanted to buy one property a year because I'm like, okay, we can gather money and save and all the things to save for a down payment for one property a year, right? We could do that. I could see how that could happen. And I still want to stay at home with my kids. So if I wanted all these things, what would need to be true? Well, we would need low risk, high quality rentals in high quality areas. And they would need to appreciate and rent quickly. They need to appreciate and value consistently. We'd also need long-term tenants, high quality tenants to take care of our property and pay rent on time. And low turnover costs, very minimal, if any. So when I said this to people, I got laughed at. Now, I didn't have a picture of people laughing at me, so this was the best that AI could do for me. So I got laughed at, okay? And the haters would say, you're dreaming. No way you'll be able to cash flow in a good area and also get quality tenants who pay rent on time or early and keep your place nice. And now that I have this strategy, this method that I've developed, and now that I'm doing it, I hear things like this from haters today who don't believe me, who say, no way tenants touch up paint for you when they leave. Yes, they do. No way you want repainting the whole interior every 2 years. Have not done that yet. No way your tenants don't trash your above the range microwaves. They don't. No way you haven't had problems with the garbage disposals. We take all of ours out. And no way you're cash flowing that much on a single long-term rental property. Show me your tax returns. I don't believe you. No way is this easy. Well, beware. Okay. Other methods just don't work the same, right? The Burr method, rental arbitrage, short-term rentals, wholesaling, D-class rentals, which is kind of like bad neighborhood rental properties, apartment complexes, REIT syndications. They just don't work the same, right? They don't get the same results. They don't get the same results. They don't work the same. So that's just how it is, right? Now remember, we need all these things, high quality rentals, high quality areas, property appreciation, rent appreciation, long-term tenants, high quality tenants, super low turnover costs, low risk, very passive income. Does this sound like too good to be true? I know it does sound that way, but it's not. Yeah, I figured it out. Now, is Burr method going to give us this? This is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Well, no, Burr doesn't give me the things that I want on my checklist. It's expensive to buy up front, right? You have to do full 30 to 50K renovations on properties. This is a sample of what a Burr investment could look like. You have to have increasing property values, and your interest rates can't rise during the time you bought the property, fix it up, and do your refinance. So a lot of high risk, a lot could go wrong in the market that's outside of your control to affect your success of using the burn method. So high stress and really not at all advisable for beginners. Okay, let's just say that now. This is not a method for beginners. You have to have high risk, all right? So this wasn't fitting my things that I needed. Rental arbitrage. You've heard of rental arbitrage. This is where you rent out somebody's place and then you rent it out. Okay, it's like subletting. Well, this isn't even real investing. You don't even own the property, so it doesn't count. Okay, moving on. All right, then we have long-term rentals, LTR D class. So I have videos on my YouTube channel about A, B, C, and D class properties. If you're not familiar with that, recommend you can go to Brick by Brick Wealth. You can watch a video on A, B, C, D class. I go over this in my coaching program, of course, too, and I talk about it on my Instagram and all of that. But basically, there's A through D, right? A, quality neighborhoods being the best luxury neighborhoods, and D being like crime gang infested. So a lot of people invest in D class neighborhoods. Well, these are not advisable, right? They don't fit my checklist of what I need, right? To get what I want. This doesn't fit. These are high risk. They have low and very slow appreciation. They have high turnover cost. They are property management nightmares. They have crime and property damage risk. They're difficult to finance, and they're very low quality tenants. So these don't work either. Then we have large and multifamily properties. Okay, so there's two types of multifamily, right? There's on the left side, 5 units and up. It's all commercial, but you've got, smaller multifamily, 5 units to 40. And then you have on the right side, luxury, beautiful, like, high-end complexes. Okay, let's talk about the right one first. I'm not buying one of those. Okay, these are multiple millions of dollars. Okay, I can't afford that on my own. Super high risk. No one's going to loan to me on that. You have to be in a group of people. Da 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 da. This is also, and this is not passive. It takes a lot of time to develop something like this. Not fitting my criteria. The left side, right, 5 units to about 40 units is advisable to manage yourself. It's harder to find companies to manage that for you. You're also going to have anything that I could afford would be low rents, right? Which means low quality tenants, high turnover cost. Doesn't fit my model of what I need. So it was long-term rentals for the win, but not just any long-term rentals, right? Those D-class ones weren't going to work out, and those luxury apartments weren't going to work out. I wanted a cakewalk. I needed the criteria to be met, the special set of criteria. High quality rentals in high quality areas. They need to appreciate and rent quickly. They need to appreciate and value consistently. We would need high quality tenants to take care of our property and pay rent on time to reduce costs. I needed low risk and super low turnover costs. And I wanted it mostly hands off and very low risk, right? I wanted a cakewalk. I wanted this to be easy peasy. So here's the method that I developed. So are you ready for it? This is what's allowed me to get a 7-figure portfolio, 6-figure income with only a handful of quality rental properties. Gives me all the things. Okay, introducing the cake method. My husband says, why'd you pick pink? I said, because when I think of cakes, I think pink and white, same. So the cake method allows you to have your cake and eat it too. It is perfect for the regular investor. Okay, this is the method that us regular people are searching for. Okay, we don't want to have to cold call and quit our day job so we can have time to run around and be this high risk investor and use private money and, have these short term loans and be just like busy all the time. I don't want to be busy. I don't want to be busy. I want to go on vacation. I want to hang out at home and snuggle my little babies till 10 a.m. Like, I don't want to have to do a lot. I want just income coming in, All right. So the cake method was born, right? Here's me and Blake a few months ago when we went to Slide Rock in Arizona. So the cake method was born. This is what you get with the cake method, right? All the things I wanted. I get monthly income from cash flow, appreciation, increasing net worth while I'm sleeping, tax advantages. Oh, the tax advantages have saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars from paying Uncle Sam. So highly worth it. Leverage, right? Ability, stability through economic downturns, control over my investment, predictability in the market. It's an equity builder, a hedge against inflation, generational wealth, passive income, low risk. I got all the things I wanted. My initial goal, okay, in the very beginning, right? Remember, if you remember that, I said I wanted to make 100,000 a year, and I thought I would need 10 rentals to get that. So back in the day, my husband Blake made this handy dandy little chart to show us what it could look like and how we would reach our goal. So using easy math, if we bought a $100,000 property and put 20% down, which is 20,000, rent was $1,000, and we saved that, it would take us 20 months before we could have enough down payment just from saving from the first property to have a down payment for property number 2. And every property that put money into the pot, right, every month would decrease the amount of time it took to save for the next down payment. So theoretically, after 10 properties, right, we would be able to resave another 20K every 3 months. It's your machine working for you. So here's the cake method and how it works in a nutshell. Okay, so you're going to find a major metro market that fits your personal investment criteria because we're all different people. We all want different things. We're all different. You're going to utilize the cake method to find the perfect neighborhood and property. Then you're going to rinse, repeat, sit back, relax, enjoy life. You can do this over and over again. So this is how the cake method works. Okay, we have CAKE. The C, choose quality neighborhoods. Okay, choose the right properties in appreciating neighborhoods. A, add value. Add value by making smart upgrades to increase rent and appreciation, or just let time do its thing. K, keep the property long term to benefit from rent increases and appreciation. And E, earn steady cash flow and appreciation while wealth builds over time. Here we go in a little bit more detail how the cake method works. So you're going to choose a quality neighborhood. To do that, you need to buy in an appreciating area. You need to buy in a good neighborhood, right? No D class, like we talked about a little while ago. And you need to buy a property that tenants want to rent. So there's a lot of research that goes into choosing a quality neighborhood and then the quality property that tenants want to rent. Next is A, add value. There's two main ways that you can add value to your property. You can force appreciation, which means you make smart, thoughtful upgrades, right? Right when you buy it to increase the rent immediately and to increase the market value immediately. So once you buy a rental property, you can make purposeful upgrades right away to increase your rent and increase the value of the property. You can, and that's called forced appreciation. You're forcing the value up. You can do that or just spend nothing extra and let time do its thing. Rent and home value will increase over time just from regular old inflation. I have done both of these types of value adds for my properties and they both work, and you can do both of them together. K is keep it. Keep the property long term. So this isn't a short term using a commercial loan, selling the property in 10 years, which is what a lot of commercial owners do. This is keep it long term. Remember, you're going to make smart upgrades. You're going to make quality renovations if needed to the property, if it's not already quality, so that you can keep it with minimal out of pocket expenses with repairs and maintenance. We want everything, all of our goal is to keep as much cash flow, keep as much of the rental income as we can in our pockets without having to fork it over for expenses. So once we have our quality property, we're going to keep it long term to benefit from the rising rent and appreciation. Then just keep buying more, one at a time, like I did, until your desired wealth is met or forever. People ask me, how many properties do you want to own? I said, no, I'm probably going to just keep buying them forever because why not? I'm going to have the money. And once you are a high income earner, you have to really buy real estate at that point for tax sheltering. So I like it. It's easy and I'm going to keep doing it forever. I don't have a property number. Next is E, earn. You're going to earn steady cash flow, appreciation, and grow your net worth as your wealth builds over time. And you will also earn more time with your family and earn financial freedom, right? I love E. It's my favorite part. You're going to earn cash flow, earn appreciation, earn more time with your family, and earn the financial freedom. Oh, that's the best. So here's some numbers, okay? This is my first rental property. We purchased this one in 2016 for $92,500. The original rent on this place, I think it was actually $10.25, but then she had a cat, so it went up 25 bucks. It was 20% down, and I did a 20-year loan. I wouldn't do a 20-year loan now, right? But I did then. I would do 30-year loans now just because you just can spread out. I would have had more cash flow if I wouldn't have had a higher mortgage payment. The original cash flow on this property was $400 a month, but because we bought thoughtfully and we bought for a long term, rents have steadily gone up, right? Today's rent is $15.25 a month, and the gross cash flow after fixed expenses is 820 bucks in my pocket. I mean, that's awesome without having to do anything. Really. $800 a month in my pocket without having to do anything for it. I will take that any day of the week. Okay. The current market value of this property is $225. So now let's look at the cake numbers on this. So C, choose quality neighborhood. I chose a B class neighborhood. So again, I got YouTubes and it's in my course, and I teach it on Instagram as well, what A, B, C, D neighborhoods are. A is the best, D is the worst. B class, A, B, C, B, C is going to be your kind of bread and butter for the quality of the neighborhood you're going to be looking for. You will not be doing D. The closer you can get to an A class property that cash flows, the better your cake method will work, right? The fancier your cake. I did a B class neighborhood for our added value, right? We've had 8 years with this property. So we've added 8 years of value to this property. And for forced depreciation, all we spent was $3,000 over the whole time we've owned it for rent ready. We haven't really done anything to this property. When we bought it, we scraped the ceilings. We added a set of barn doors. We did all of that ourselves. And we did add granite countertops, which is a bulk of that 3K, 2 or 3 years ago, just because tenant turnover. I'm like, oh, it's a nice neighborhood. Let's put in granite. I mean, we didn't even have to, but gosh, we're making 800 bucks a month. Actually, it was a little higher than that. We had some tax increases, so it went down a little. But 800 some dollars a month, 900 bucks a month. I'm like, we can put in some granite countertops to get some higher quality tenants. Like, keep the cake method working premium. All right, keep it. We've had this baby for 8 years. I'm not selling it. Okay. Our rent has appreciated 45% in the past 8 years. The home has appreciated 143% since we bought it. And cash collected. This is something that people don't talk about. People don't want to ever mention the cash collected. And I think that is a sin. We have collected $134,700 in cash from rental payments over the past 8 years. $134,000 cash collected. This needs to be celebrated. Okay, rent appreciated 45%, home 143% home value appreciation, and cash collected. I mean, we are earning, baby. We're earning time. We're earning everything with just one property. See how one property can really make a difference. Now imagine 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you see why rental properties, and especially using the cake method, can really set you free fast. Using this method, you will be able to own a small quantity of properties of high quality that will generate more income than many other people's portfolios that brag about how many units they have. Units, schmunits, okay? It's all about the quality of the property, the cash flow, and the appreciation. That's what matters, not how many units you have. That's so stupid. I hate that. Okay. All right. Here's our second rental property, the numbers, okay? Now, items doing 1, 2, 3. We've made mistakes in our lives. We have. So I'm not mistake free. This was one of them. Okay, our second rental property purchased in 2017, right? A year later for $69,000, right? The original rent, $925. We did the 30-year loan this time. Our original cash flow, $500 a month, right? Fantastic. Today's rent is $1,250, and the cash flow we're bringing in, $750 a month, and the current market value is $235,000. Look how much that has gone up. Let's look at the cake numbers now. Our quality neighborhood we chose for this cake method was a C-class neighborhood. Okay. We've had 7 years of added value into this property. Now we forced appreciation when we bought it and spent about $2,000 for rent ready, but then unfortunately forced. If you've ever heard my tenant horror story, right, where like I said, we all have mistakes, and my biggest mistakes I made was, like I mentioned in the very beginning, with tenant selection and doing all the tenant stuff, which I had no experience in. So nightmare tenant completely trashed my property, and I spent $16,000 fixing that back up. But it did add another $30,000 in value once I fixed it up to be even better than when it was before she destroyed it. That lady. Nightmare still about her. Okay. K, keep it. So I've had this property 7 years and growing. I have mastered the cake method after this point, mastered tenant selection, stress-free. My first gray hairs were from this house ever. Not from my kids, but from this house. But no more. Well, I'm getting gray hairs now because I'm old, but no more gray hairs from real estate. That's the joy. I have earned 35% rent appreciation since we bought this property. The home has appreciated 240%, and I've collected $118,600 in cash from this property alone. And don't forget the last one. And then number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Can you see how this is amazing? Just buying one a year on average. I mean, it really doesn't get better than this. So you might say, oh, well, no, there's no houses that are that cheap, anymore. Okay. So here's our latest rental. We purchased this one in 2024 for $204,000. We rented it for $1,795. We did 25% down, 30-year loan. And yes, the interest rate's 7.25%. So this works with high interest rates. This works with today's prices. Okay. Cake method still works. Gross cash flow, $570 a month just in the first year. The current market value is already $249,000. And this is in an A-B neighborhood. So now that I am fine tuning my cake method and I am like just really going all in and finding the highest quality properties in the best neighborhoods and doing the most quality, the best types of renovations needed for that area, right? This is an A-B neighborhood. I'm not doing the same renovations as I would on the last house in the C neighborhood. Okay. They're different renovations, different levels of value. So this one had an added appreciation of $45K with only $16,000 in renovations. That's so funny. It was 16 on the last one too. Okay. So let's look at the cake numbers, okay? The neighborhood quality is an A-B neighborhood. The added value for time, less than a year. We just bought it, okay? Forced appreciation, we did have to fix this property up, right? Because this is in an A-B neighborhood, so the better the neighborhood, the more renovations you're likely going to have to do to get it to cash flow. We spent $20,000 in renovations, but that gave us $45,000 in added value. Plus, everything is nice and new. And we did it, and it's not going to break. It wasn't cheaply done by a flipper or some other investor. Okay, for keep, we've had it less than a year, right? But it's going. This is our latest one. For earn, rent appreciation, I expect 3% a year annual increases. The home's already appreciated 22% from my added value. And I expect to collect over $21,000 in cash just in year one. Right? And we can't forget rent increases over time will increase my cash to collect. So if I own this house for 10 years, I'm going to be collecting more than $100,000 because I'm going to have had rent increases. And the better the neighborhood, the bigger the rent increases go. All right. So cake method in place. We're getting everything rolling. We started buying one rental property at a time, just one a year on average. We bought in markets with steady appreciation. We increase the value through light renovations if needed. Not all properties need light renovations. And what I teach my students is look for properties that don't need a lot of work, especially if you're a first time investor. Like I mentioned, again, the Burr method, doing heavy renovations as a new investor, recipe for disaster, okay? For especially if you're investing out of area. So you really don't want to drop my microphone. You really getting excited. You really don't want to, go for a full reno right off the bat. Now, if you have experience, then yeah, by all means, do it, but you don't have to. The goal was to buy rent ready if it would cash flow, right? That's the goal. The goal is to put in A plus tenants, which I figured out quickly after that second rental what I did wrong and what I would never do again. Okay. And now you buy the property, do little renovations, put in quality tenants, sit back, collect rents, and relax, right? Like I said, we just left a few months ago for an entire month and we didn't have any call. I manage our properties. I don't even use a property manager. No calls from our tenants. Everything was perfect. It was just breath of fresh air to have this income coming in from quality tenants who take care of my properties in areas where they're appreciating and I'm making money. I mean, it's the best of all worlds. I was able to have my cake and eat it too. And because of how well this worked, our goal of wanting $100,000, thinking I needed 10 properties, which would be like 10 years, we only needed 6 rental properties and it only took 6 years. Now I know you're like, oh, that's like way too long. It's not. Okay. Long-term rentals, if you want not a lot of work, not a lot of time invested, and you want to sit back and collect checks without doing anything, really the only strategy that's going to do that is long-term rental property. So if you can condense all the other things and take the best of everything's best, all the strategies, the best of all their worlds and put them together, you're going to get the cake method. It's going to drastically reduce the amount of time that you need to invest in real estate to meet your income goals. So don't forget, my husband's like, remind everybody that we did this on a single salary, not even 6 figures. If you are a dual income household, if you have 2 incomes, you know how much faster you can do this? We didn't even make $100,000. Like I was way below that, and we were still able to do this. So, God, it gives me the chills. Oh, so many dual income or high income earners. You guys will kill it. You'll be able to double or triple my time frame. Okay. And I did this while I was a stay-at-home mom, but I had 2, now 3 little kids, right? So it wasn't, easy to do all this while you have people crying and climbing up your leg. But we bought low risk properties. We get passive income, low turnover costs, and easy tenants. I'm telling you, it's amazing. So now we are work optional. Okay. We have replaced my husband's income with income from rental properties. We travel whenever we want. We homeschool our kids, which I just started doing last year. And at the moment, we're collecting $162,000 a year with only 9 rental properties. We own 10 properties, one we live in. Currently 9 properties, bringing in 162K. And we get to spend time doing what we love. And we have quality tenants and we know our properties inside and out. And we know when there's going to be issues or when the air conditioner is due. There's no surprises. And this is all going to get better. I mean, it sounds like fantasy, but it's really not. So don't take it just from me, right? I have been helping people for 5 years online. So meet Bobby and Lexi. They live in California. They bought their very first rental property in Georgia. For their down payment, right? I used my Etsy money, but they used their HELOC. They got a home equity line of credit from their primary residence, which I helped them get. They used that money for a down payment. They got an off-market deal for sell by owner on Facebook. They bought it for $15,000 under asking price. They're bringing in $529 a month in cash flow. And they did such a good job with their property that and the marketing and all of that, they even got $50 more a month in rent than what they were advertising. So heck yeah, let's look at their cake numbers. So they bought in a C-class neighborhood. right? I try to pick some older students so you can see the cake method in action, right? They've had this property for 2.5 years. They've gotten $34,000 in equity gain. They only put $2,000 in it to make it rent ready. Their rent appreciation 3% a year is expected. Their homes appreciated 22%, and they've collected about $47,000 in cash over the past 2.5 years. Like, whoa, that's awesome. Now imagine when this is paid off for them and they're keeping all of that and multiple properties. I mean, this is the surefire way to success with minimal risk and time. Okay. You can't beat it. All right. Here's Ann. Meet Ann. Ann lives in SoCal, Southern California. She invested in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma for her first rental property. She used a HELOC to fund her down payment too. A lot of my students do, about 50% of them will use a home equity line. She found an off market deal through a wholesaler. Okay. She bought her house for $180,000. It appraised for $255,000. That is a massive instant equity boost of $75,000 in extra net worth right then, the day she closed on her property. Guaranteed rent increases 3% each year from her lease agreement. Let's look at her cake numbers. Anne bought in a B class neighborhood, right? So her cake's going to be even better because she bought in the better neighborhood. For her time appreciation, 60,000 equity gain. Forced appreciation, 20K. She did have to do some paint and flooring. This was a bigger house. This was not a little tiny house. This was a 4-bedroom house or so, large square footage. So it did cost. So remember, the bigger the house, the more it costs for paint and flooring. Okay. She's had it for 2.5 years too. Her rent is appreciated 3% every year in the lease agreement, and she's collected about $37,000 in cash since she bought it. Now meet Casey. I love Casey because he's got my name with the K. Casey's a small business owner, and he joined my program, right? Successful rental properties. He got 3 single family rentals in 2 months. He's an out-of-state investor from Denver. Oh, and last summer, was it last summer? Maybe it was 2 summers ago. Me and my family, we went on another traveling expedition, and we went through Colorado, our favorite state, and we met Casey and his wife Allison and went to dinner. And it's really, I love meeting my students. So had such a great time catching up with him. Anyway, he invested and still does invest in the Montgomery, Alabama market. His first property received more applications than any other property the property management company has ever seen. Now, I have big connections with this property management company. I have network connections all around the country for all the markets my students are in. And so I have been working with this PM company for several years. And she called and told me, Casey, this house, like, I don't know how you did this with him, but we got more applications than any other property we've ever seen. And they've managed thousands of units. So I was like, oh, that's amazing. And obviously, right, high supply and demand, whatever, he received above asking rent when it was listed. So he got more rent accepted than what he was advertising. Now he owns 5 long-term rentals, I missed the G, bringing in over $8,000 a month in passive income. Hella freaking Luya. Let's look at his cake numbers. He bought in B and C class neighborhoods. Now he has several, so I kind of had to do an average here. 60,000 in equity gain. I don't know what his forced appreciation was. There's too many houses. He's had his houses 3 years, okay, and growing. His rents have appreciated 3%. Homes appreciated about 20%. I checked all the addresses. And he's collected approximately $142,000 in cash from these properties over the past few years. I mean, fantastic. You can do this too. These are not even my best success stories. I just picked students that I had information from. Okay. There are stories like this from a lot of people. Okay. I mean, I have helped hundreds of people in the past 5 years. There's over 50 of these sort of testimonials on my website, video testimonials, all this information. Don't think that this isn't something you can do. Okay. I am a very safe investor, tried and true methods. I don't like to lose money. I don't like to take large risks. I'm like slow and steady wins the race, and I'm going to be a freaking millionaire no matter what if I follow these steps. That's my thought process. And I know you can do this too. So, Successful Rental Properties is my flagship coaching program that helps students with their very first rental properties. This is an established program. It's been running for 5 years and going strong. I've served nearly 200 students. Now, remember, this is a one-on-one program. Okay, this isn't like some huge program where I've put thousands of students through in 5 years. Well, I couldn't possibly know thousands of people. Okay, but I know all of my students as friends. Okay. I am a market expert with experience having helped students in over 50 submarkets nationwide. One benefit of me starting this coaching program that I didn't think that I never thought of was that I would not only be a market expert in Memphis, but I'm a market expert in several other markets nationwide with teams all across the country that I trust from my students using them. So, success with rental properties, or SWARP, as one of my students coined SWARP. Oh, I never thought of saying it that way, but it is a powerful coaching program. Powerful, allowing you to take control of your own income and build your dream life by investing in low risk, high quality, long term rental properties that increase in value and cash flow over time with little risk and little headaches. That is the joy. You don't have to quit your job and be a full time investor. A lot of these other methods require you to be working pretty much a second job doing all of this real estate investing stuff. I want to eat my cake, right? I want to have my cake and eat it too. I don't want another job. I want to travel and snuggle with my kids. You don't have to door knock and cold call in this program, right? You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on marketing campaigns and hiring people. There's no extra cost. You don't have to use fancy creative financing strategies. You sure can. And I have had students that do, but you don't have to. You don't have to risk your savings on bad deals. I worked hard for my down payment, every single one of them. I'm not going to do something that's going to put yours at risk either. You don't have to invest in gang infested areas. And when some people see the area that some of these, properties are located in that they're thinking they're going to invest in, they're like, never mind. You won't be doing that. There's no investing in gang infested areas. I'm not a proponent of that. Success with rental properties was built with you in mind, focuses on your journey. Low risk, simple, foolproof. That's the plan. You can have a safe, low risk path to building wealth through real estate. You can buy deals easily off market or on the MLS. You can own rental properties that you're proud of. You can have tenants who care about you and your property. And you can have super low turnover costs. I talked to a property management guy the other day, and he told me that I should expect, I was inquiring about his services, and I'm always learning more about PM companies. Well, maybe I'll give one of my properties to this company. The company is the owner. The owner's a friend of mine, and I'm like, well, let me kind of do some digging. The guy told me, the VP, that I should expect to repaint my entire inside of my property every 2 years, and I'm like, what type of tenants are you putting in where you're repainting the inside? Painting is expensive, okay? That's not an expense you want. The only time we've ever repainted the interior of a home was with our nightmare tenant. Otherwise, we have not done that in 8 years, going on 9. You can have a real person show you how this is done, who has a proven track record of teaching others, me, to show you exactly how it's done without any hype, without empty promises, and definitely without unrealistic guru success stories that I can't stand. You can have someone help you through your entire first rental property experience. It's not look at a course and good luck, chat me, put it, see you in the group, meetings. No, I am helping you every step of the way. My success is your success. Your success is my success. And I want us all to be very successful. Rental property investing has changed my life from just being a stay at home mom to a multimillionaire who is in my 40s. And I get to spend my life doing what I want, snuggling with my kids, homeschooling them, helping people like you. I get to do what I love. You can't, you can't, sorry, you can't beat it, but you can. So, what exactly is success with rental properties? What exactly is it? Okay. SWRP, or SWARP, is the culmination of 15 plus years of my experience in the real estate industry, with nearly 200 students coming through the program in the past 5 years. It's a course and coaching hybrid program designed to help you the entire way through the experience, the whole experience of your first rental property, not just to buy it and then see you later. After you buy it, you have to maybe fix it up. You have to market it, get it to rent, choose tenants, and all of that until you collect your first rent check. The deal's not done, right? The deed's not done. So the entire way through your first, here's a couple screenshots of the coursework and the community that we have. The course section covers everything you'll need, from understanding your personal financing options all the way to cashing your first rent check. Like I said, nothing is left out. Here's a little quick overview of what's in the course. From understanding your FI number, right? So you'll understand what your financial independence number is, which is how many properties you need, right? How much cash flow you need to meet your income goals. It's different for everyone. And I have formulas in there and guides to help you figure out how to figure out your FI number. Also, how to figure out which financing options are right for your situation now, okay? And what financing options you can use later to scale. There's a lot of financing options out there. And I'll admit, when I first started in real estate, I did not know all the options that were available to me. And had I known, I might have chosen different things starting out. So you're going to learn what financing options are right for you right now in your financial situation life, and then what you can do in the future to scale if you want to. You'll learn how to narrow down the entire United States into your top 3 most profitable and favorite major metro markets. A major metro markets, like if you opened up a Google map, it's going to have dots where the cities are. Austin, Sacramento, Memphis, Atlanta. Those are major metro markets. You'll learn how to deeply analyze those major metro markets and then break them down into cash flowing zip codes and look for, this is key, right? This is the cake method, the golden nugget neighborhoods that cash flow and appreciate. You'll learn how to run the numbers for long-term rental, single family and multifamily properties. I have students that buy up to 4-plex, anything from a single family to duplex, which is a 2-unit, or a triplex, or a 4-plex, or 4-family, however you want to call it. I help with how to build a team that will set you up for success, right? You're going to need people to help you, especially if you're out of area investor, real estate agents, property managers, lenders, contractors, and the team member nobody wants to talk about, tenants. Tenants will make or break your success. And you'll also learn offer strategies to get your offers accepted the first time. But that's not all, okay? You're even going to learn how to work with contractors, even when they're across the country. So I'd probably say 90% of my students in my program invest out of area, out of state, somewhere that's too far to like kind of drive every day is out of area. So you may have some light renovations to do. So how do you work with contractors when they're across the country? I'll show you how. I will also show you how to understand bids and contracts on renovations, and you will learn how to renovate a property. Module 5 is all on how to renovate a property. My husband and I have renovated at least 12 or more properties ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I actually mean ourselves. Like, we own every tool that Home Depot and Lowe's has. And we probably own multiple of some of the tools, because when we can't find a tool, we just go rebuy it. We're not that organized in the garage. So you'll learn how to renovate a property too, which is very fun. My students really love that module. You're going to learn tenant placement, landlording, how to collect rent, how not to collect rent, and how to not get screwed by property managers. So whether you're going to landlord or hire that job out to a property manager or a PM, you'll learn how to do both those things. And ultimately, at the end, how to organize your business for tax time. I will give you profit and loss statement templates, those same ones that I use, that I give to my CPA. And my CPA says, Casey, you organize your taxes the best from anyone I've ever seen. Thank you. Thank you. So I will give you that information too. And you also get the brick vault, brick by brick wealth, the brick vault. Contracts galore, okay? Over 50 different tools, downloads, PDFs, calculators available, lease agreements, off-market purchase agreements, several calculators. Even help with short-term rentals. So there's short-term rental calculators information as well. Wholesaling agreements. I mean, you name it, it's there for you to download. So here's what kind of the online course again looks like. For example, this I just took some random screenshots of different lessons. There's 6 modules plus the brick vault, and also recorded coaching calls if you are in the coaching program section side of that. Finding your rental properties on the left. Lesson 1, the ideal rental market. You can pause if you want to kind of read some of these, but you're going to learn everything there is to learn. You will be an expert. This course took me a year to make. It was not something that I threw together. And I'll be honest that I hadn't seen people's courses before I made mine, and I didn't know how kind of crappy most people's courses were. Mine's really good. It's really good. I did a really good job. It took me a long time. So a lot of them is slides with my voice teaching the material, and a lot of information. There's downloads and everything, resources for all the lessons, etc. Now it's like I said, it's a hybrid, so it's not just a course. Okay, courses are great, but most people need help through everything, and everybody has a different situation. So if you're really determined to get your first rental property and you want it to be done successfully, and you want help with your unique problems that will arise, okay? That will arise. You need coaching. So SWRP comes with not only the online course, but also a community, as you see here on the left, of other students that are going through their first rental property too. And you can ask questions. I will answer. You get weekly one-on-one coaching from me via Zoom. Here's just a screenshot I picked of a recent one. Small group. Okay. This is how I'm able to provide one-on-one coaching. Each one of my students gets as much time as they need to go through what they need to go through for that week. So every week, I will give you homework and to-do lists, right? If you don't like the word homework because you've got bad, juju with that from school, and you don't like the word homework, okay, well, to-do list, action steps, task list, whatever you want to call it. Every single week, you will have action steps to do to take to complete for the next week. And when you come back to the meeting, then we'll go over what you did, any hurdles, and I'll ask you questions. And every week, we're progressing you forward through the goal of getting your first rental property, getting it ready to rent, and getting it rented so you can get your rent check. I want you to be an expert. I will help you with deal analysis, right? I will look over your home inspection reports. I look over your potential deals. I don't really want you sending earnest money checks and having them get cashed and be locked into deals without me knowing it first. I want to know what you're offering on so I can give the thumbs up, tell you if there's any red flags, make you question things and say, and have other questions to ask the real estate agent, or provide alternate ways of looking at a situation, helping you with offer analysis, how offer strategy, how can we get the seller to accept. So I'm really in there with you through all of your potential deals and everything. Say, I want you to ask as many questions as you want. So whereas we do have, quote, in person or virtual face-to-face meetings every week, there's also the community where I want you to ask me questions all week long. And you can chat me too. If it's a private question or whatever, you can chat me. Like, you can DM and chat me anytime or day. And if I'm asleep, I just won't answer, right? Don't be worried about chatting me at 10 p.m. If I'm awake, I'll answer you back. And if I'm asleep, then I'll get to it tomorrow. But you have me all week, not just during the coaching, and I will personally help you the whole way through, which is why my program is so powerful. I love my students. Okay, this works. Okay, this program works, and the cake method works. Even if you have no experience with long-term rentals, even if you have never bought a property before, even if you have to go out of state to buy your first rental, even if you only have $30,000 to invest. Now, I would say that'd probably be the minimum. Okay, you're going to need at least 30. The more, the merrier. Even if you don't have a job, And you can choose a good long-term rental market you're proud of. You can find quality properties that cash flow. You can find good tenants who take care of your property. You can get your offers accepted. You can get help with your first long-term rental from beginning to end. And you can be proud of your investment. And unfortunately, a side effect of this program, side effect warning, is that you will get addicted to this and you will want to buy more and more. This is what happens to everybody. I haven't found anybody yet who has gone through my program, bought a rental, and said, that's it, no more from me. They're like barely closing and they're like, okay, I'm ready for the next one. I'm like, okay, Nelly, like slow down, no, but it is definitely addicting because it's once you get this formula down, this method, it's so surefire. It's so just simple. You will want to repeat this again and again. The more properties you have, the more free you are. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, that's nice. It worked for you and those other people, but will it work for me? Will it work for me today in today's market with all the new things? Da, 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 da. Yes. Meet Jen. Okay. Jen just bought her first out of rental property in Georgia. She lives in California. She has never been to Georgia before. And now she has a successful rental property. I helped her to get a HELOC to buy the property. She used her HELOC to buy it all cash. She has a fixed rate interest on her HELOC. And she's used literally none of her own savings for this purchase. After a few upgrades to the house using her HELOC, she now has a cash flowing tenant who pays $1,500 a month. Okay. Jeff and Patrice. Jeff and Patrice live in New Jersey. They had a brand new baby, right? So no babies. Having a baby is not an excuse, right? Remember all the excuses. No more excuses. If you want to change your life, you have to take action. They had a brand new baby and bought their first out-of-state rental in Ohio for $61,000. So they spent less than $30,000, but I don't like to say that you can spend less because I can't promise it. I'm a very realistic person and I do require you to at least have $30,000 ready to invest to join the program. Even with an 8.125% interest rate, they are able to bring in a gross cash flow of $400 a month. And they even received 2% seller credits and got the sellers to agree to tens of thousands of dollars in repairs, in addition to a new roof. So talk about good negotiating. The things that you're going to learn in this program are going to save you so much money. It's going to be crazy. They now have their second rental a year later, okay, which I helped them with too because they love me so much. Okay. Meet Leah. Leah lives in Washington and she bought her first out-of-state property duplex. She bought a multifamily in Ohio. Her property came with amazing tenants. So she bought but she bought a tenant-occupied property. So she got positive cash flow. She got a rent check starting day one, right? She spent $42,000 out of pocket she was all in, $42K out of pocket for this duplex at a 7% interest rate. And no repairs needed, right? She's on cloud nine. She's already closed on her second duplex. Now she has 4 units and she is scaling, right? It's all about getting the first property done right the first time. That's it. Once you've got a solid foundation and you know how to do things the right way, you're like off to the races. Meet Roger. Roger's from Northern California, and he bought 2 out-of-state rental properties in Alabama. He used some creative financing strategies. Like I said, you don't have to, but you can. He used seller financing and subject to get these deals, which I help with creative financing as well, but don't feel like you have to. He's now quit his day job, and he is pursuing his passions full time. Love Roger. Talk to him frequently. Meet Kate. Kate lives in California and she bought her first 3 rental properties all the way in Alabama and her interest rate was 8.125%. She used her HELOC to fund her down payments and she's done some major equity renovations to get that added value that we talked about. She plans to BRRRR and do a cash out refinance to scale once rates get down a little bit more she'll make double the cash flow when she can get her rates down and she's going to buy more. So Kate is fantastic. Oh, we could be like best friends if I lived closer. Okay, meet Elizabeth. Elizabeth lives in South Carolina and she bought her first property in Indiana. Even with an interest rate of 7.125%, she has a gross cash flow of $632 a month. $600 a month on her first house. That's better than what I got, you know? I know the tricks now. She's on her way to financial freedom and has lifted a heavy financial burden off her family. Because imagine an extra $607 a month coming in your pocket. I mean, you would start to notice that. Now imagine if you've got 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Now you've got a whole other income coming in. Now you're a step ahead. Now you're in a different level than most people. So does success with rental properties actually work? Yes. Yes, it does. So how? This is the framework. Okay. So I've done this so many times. There is a framework and steps and a process I will bring you through, right? First thing we'll do together is we'll determine what financing method you'll use for your first rental property. There are a lot of different financing method options. I'm going to talk to you about your situation and I'll tell you which one I think is best for you. Okay. I will help you choose a major metro market to invest in. I will help you show you the metrics so you can decide for yourself. And then I will help you choose. If I have any feelings about a market one way or the other, I'll let you know what they are and why. So you can make an educated decision with someone who has an experience. Not just like close your eyes and pick on the map. We're not doing that. I will show you how to narrow down the major metro market into profitable submarkets. This is key. Not every area cash flows, and not every area that cash flows should you be buying in, okay? Especially if you want the cake method to work and you want to buy less properties and make more money, you have to use the method that I'm talking about. I will teach you how to analyze properties the right way. And I will check your work. I'm going to want to see your spreadsheet and I'm going to want to see where you got information from so I can make sure you're doing it right. And I want to do that before you spend 10 or 15 hours analyzing markets and you're burnt out to find out you did it wrong. Okay. I don't want you buying rental properties. Come to find out you ran the numbers wrong to begin with. So we're going to make sure you're on the right track the whole way through. I'm going to guide you on building an amazing team and I will help you vet them. I'll tell you what questions to ask. I'll ask you, what do they say? Let's just help decide together on what you think is the best route to go for your team members. Then we're going to start making offers. Well, I say we, but it's you making the offers. Okay. I don't have any part of your deals, but I'm just here as your guidance, like a guidance counselor. I'm your coach, helping you make the right choices along the way. Then you're going to get your property rented by either landlording yourself or hiring a property manager. If you're buying out of state, you're likely going to hire a property manager, even if maybe down the road you transition to doing it yourself. You're likely going to hire a PM. If you live nearby, you can definitely landlord. I do. It's a love-hate thing, honestly, with landlording. It's a love-hate. Next is renovation. So once you buy the property, right, you're going to need to renovate it. But before you even renovate it, if you are hiring a PM, that's why that's next. You're going to need to have your PM in place before you renovate because someone has to watch over your property while it's being vacant. So I will guide you on renovations, show you how to work with contractors. I'll look over all of your things, right? So you're going to do renovations. Then once it's done, it's marketing your property for rent if you're landlording yourself. Otherwise, the PM does that. And you collect your first rent check. You're all done. We did it together. You can give me a cool testimonial if you want. Everybody does. And you will like say, okay, when do I do? Is it the biggest question I get is it too soon to get the next house? And I'm like, no, definitely you can go get the next one whenever you're ready. So if you're interested in learning more about success with rental properties, if you're interested in more in working with me, getting your first rental property in the next few months, right? A high quality rental property that appreciates, cash flows, good tenants, low maintenance. I mean, come on. If you're interested in learning more, click the link below this video. You get a ton of details, a link to book a call with me, okay, to see if this program is the right fit for your goals. Now, I've given you tons of information, okay, already. So you probably have a good idea if you want to move forward or not. Our call is no strings attached. I'm not like the best salesperson in the world. I'm not a hard seller or all those things. I really wanted to get to know you. I'm assuming that if you are on the call with me, you've done your research on me already or whatever you need to do and about the program, and if you watched all the testimonials that you can on my website, and you're kind of coming to just see me, okay, and get to know me and have a list of questions. A lot of people come with tons of questions. I will answer as many questions as we can answer, okay? And I really want to get to know you. I want to get to know you. You kind of know a lot about me from watching this video for the past several minutes. but I don't know anything about you. So I want to get to know you. If we're going to work together for quite some time, I'd like to get to know you. We'll talk about your real estate goals. I want to make sure too that you're a good fit for my program because it's my time I'm spending with you. And I want to make sure that, I want to work with you too. So not everybody is a great fit for the program. If you think you are, I encourage you to book a call. Okay. Let's get to know each other. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll answer them on the call. I only want people to enroll who I know can succeed. So if you're not sure that long term rentals is for you, please don't book a call. Okay. If you're like, well, I might want to do wholesaling, well, go do wholesaling. You don't need to come talk to me about long term rentals if you're not sure you want to do it. So before you book a call, please make sure that you know long term rentals is for you because that's what I teach. That's it. I help with short term rentals too, but the meat and potatoes is long-term rentals. Okay. Um, you do need to have a down payment available somewhere, whether it's equity from your home, I can help you tap into. If you have access to a 401k or something similar, 403b, all those sort of government savings accounts, we can help you borrow from that. Or cash savings, or a combo of that. But you need to have a down payment somewhere because this program is about buying your first property, not looking for down payments. So you got to kind of know already where that's coming from. If you got an idea for that, we can talk about if you got multiple methods, we can talk about that too. So you can totally do this. You just need the right people alongside you to help make it happen. Okay. You can do this. So take action. Okay. Take action towards your goals to better your future. Life is so freaking short. So short. My daughter's 13. She's only got a few more years with me until she's out of the house. Luckily, she still wants to talk to me. My neighbors' kids are 13 and they don't even talk to their moms anymore. At least mine still snuggle with me. Like I'm already still blessed. Take action now to better your life, to increase your quality of living so you can spend more time with your family. You have to get out of your comfort zone and do things that you normally might not do. That's how I got here today. I made it happen. So can you. One call can change your life.